What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well. So, flying in Battlefield 4, you may see yourself as a good infantry player. You may see yourself a pro in the tank. You may be amazing in the boats, but some of us are not perfect or hardly use the helicopters because we just don't know how to, or we crash a lot. And in this episode, I'm going to show you guys how to get better in the heli. So we're on test range. This personally is what helped me to get better in the heli. So you hop in. My vehicle sensitivity is on 23. So if you want to try that out, that might help you. The basics: left stick, up and down, swiveling, left and right as well. It's pretty basic. You should know this if you've ever flown a helicopter before, but it's really matching the two with the right stick with the tilting that can make it difficult. So what I suggest to do is hop on test range, jump in the little bird and go around the outskirts of the map. If you want to start to do it in third person, if it's easier for you, then do that. Just get used to the controls, take it as slow as you want, but I like to follow this track along here. Go all the way around. Don't worry if you crash, just start again. So I like to go around here a few times, get your bearings, try and go faster and faster. You don't have to, it's practice makes perfect. You're going to crash a lot of the times if you don't use the helicopter too much, but keep going round and round in circles. Increase your turning a bit more. So sometimes when you start off slow, obviously you want to take it slow, you want to go around the corners, but once you start to get faster, it's not just about flying fast and low in a straight line. It's also about making those tight little corners and turns. Obviously the little bird, if you don't know, is the best scout helicopter. It's the most nimble. So get used to the turns, and then once you think you've mastered the general flying of it, then shoot some targets. So go onto this little range here and just get used to shooting the targets, balancing out the helicopter and just getting a general feel for it, really. So this is what I do most of the time. If I feel like I'm doing pretty shit in the heli, I just hop on the test range and fly around the map. You can fly high if you want to, but I suggest flying quite low because obviously in the sky there's no obstacles unless there's jets ramming fuckers, but you're in the test range, so there's not going to be anyone there. So once you finish perfecting the scout helicopter, try and go into every single heli and repeat the process. So I think I'm in the Havoc right now, and I'm just going in circles. With the heavier vehicles, or should I say the heavier helicopters, they won't be as nimble as the little bird. So you see I'm taking a bit of a different course here, just getting used to how quickly you can turn, because you can't turn as fast in this. Seeing what it can and can't do. I go smacking into the tree, as you can see there, but you're going to have a lot of failed attempts, so just keep at it. Get used to how fast you can go, what you can and can't do. Some people will pick it up quicker than others. I quite like flying, so showing you this on the test range should be relatively light work, but I do crash once or twice, but everyone will do. Again, once you found that you've gotten used to flying around in the attack chopper, try and shoot some targets. I suggest to try landing properly as well, because a lot of the time people know how to fly but they bounce off the floor when landing. So there's a balance. You've got to know when to be flying quickly and when to be making those tight turns as if you're running away from enemies. Then you've also got to know how to balance it out, knowing how to land. But getting used to the basic controls will help you. Again, in the transport, this is a big boy. Flight is quite slow when taking off compared to the little bird, which just shoots off. Taking the same track, taking it slow. I do suggest flying in first person. You're a lot lower to the ground, so compared to third person, obviously you see I die right there, compared to third person, which you can't see the ground as easier. Obviously you can see the entire helicopter, but you want to be able to fly in first person, because that's what you should do. Once you feel like you've mastered general flying, a bit of an unorthodox one, fly backwards. There are times where you're getting shot at from the front, and it'd be better to fly backwards. Say if you're on Parasol Storm and there's a few boats hot on your ass, they're right in front of you, you don't want to continue to fly over them. If you try and fly away, they will shoot you in the back. Flying backwards is often a good way of people to miss shots against you, so I suggest practice flying backwards. Obviously you can't do what I was doing at the start, flying through trees and whatnot, but if you just can get the basics down and flying backwards without crashing in the little bird, then that's pretty good. Again, hopping back to the Havoc, doing the same thing, flying backwards. I mean, you don't need to take this step if you don't want to, but if you spend 20-30 minutes doing it, especially in the little bird and the Havoc, it will you should be able to get better in live lobbies. You find that you crash less, and you're just generally better. But it all comes down to practice. You've got to practice a lot. There'll be bullshit moments where you fly into, you feel like you've cleared an obstacle, and then you just hit something randomly, and then your vehicle is destroyed. It's happened to me many a times. But with everything in life, to get better, you've got to practice. So practice as much as you can. Flying forwards, mostly, obviously. Tight turns, flying backwards, landing. And yeah, those were my tips on how to get better flying any of the helicopters. If you enjoyed this video and if it's helped you, make sure you hit that subscribe button.